Hello and welcome to my review of Hugo, the Martin Scorsese film starring Ben Kingsley, Chloe Grace Moretz, and Sacha Baron Cohen. Hugo centers on a young boy named Hugo who lives in a train station after his father died in a museum explosion, and the movie is pretty much about him trying to find and unravel the mystery of this automaton, which for those who don't know is a robot which his father and him are trying to fix before the accident. And through this, he ends up finding out some secrets about an old man played by Ben Kingsley who isn't quite who he seems to be, with the help of his friend played by Chloe Grace Moretz being chased by a train station guard played by Sacha Baron Cohen. Now, Hugo's another one of those movies. You know, one of those.
Oh yes, this is a wonderful movie. It brings the world of cinema into the world of you.
But as it turns out, you might want to listen to the critics on this one, because this is a pretty magical little movie. It's just not for everybody, not in the slightest. Now, the best thing about this movie, by far, is the artistry of it. Now, I read this book when I was a little kid. It's based on a book called The Invention of Hugo Cabret. Now, this book is part prose and then part these illustrations that are just unbelievably beautiful. And what Martin Scorsese does in this film is he captures the essence of this book through imagery. And it's absolutely beautiful. The train station, the clock tower, the city, all are memorable images, and extremely memorable, and made even more memorable by the astonishing 3D. Now, I made a vow a couple months back to never see another movie in 3D, but I decided to make an exception for Martin Scorsese, and I'm so glad I did, because this movie is pure art, and it uses the 3D in a way to where it brings that artistry out even more. There are a couple shots in this movie that have to be seen in 3D to be really appreciated. It's beautiful. Like, if you were to just look at it as a static shot, it'd be a painting. It's just unbelievable the way he uses this 3D, not as a gimmick, but to extend his directorial hand and really bring you these cinematic images. Also, this is just a solid story. It's essentially ends up being a movie that's a cross between a mystery film and a film about the early beginnings of French cinema. And both of those mesh together really well, and the performances are really solid by Asa Butterfield, who I believe plays Hugo, and Chloe Grace Moretz, who plays Hugo's friend. It's just the mystery of figuring out what this automaton does and how it connects to this old man played by Ben Kingsley. It's compelling. The only problem is it's very slow paced. That's what you gotta know going into this film, and what I wasn't expecting is that while it's beautiful to look at and while the story is engaging, it's very slow and a little repetitive. You feel like you get the point, especially with Hugo's character. They definitely drive home the fact that he's mourning his father, and that some of the metaphors about his connection with his father, with this machine, all of that, they just drive it home a little teeny bit too much. And some of the stuff in the middle where him and Chloe Grace Moretz are just wandering around the train station, I felt could have been cut. I just felt like this movie was just a tad too long. And if it had been less scattershot and a little more focused and straight, it would have been a lot better. And finally, the last point I want to make about this film are the two supporting performances by Ben Kingsley and Sacha Baron Cohen. Ben Kingsley, I can easily see getting a Best Supporting Actor nomination for this role, just because this man who's just lost all hope in the world, and someone who used to be someone so great and just brought down to nothing. And this is one of the first great roles I've seen Ben Kingsley play in a long time, and he knocks it out of the park. And also, Sacha Baron Cohen, who I expected to just be an annoying caricature. Like, they show him in the trailers just going, making faces at the camera the whole time. I'm going to get you, Hugo. He actually has a lot of depth to him. It's more subtle than perhaps Ben Kingsley. But Cohen actually brings a decent amount of humanity to this very cartoon-type character. Overall, Hugo is a much more of a movie to where you go in and you enjoy the whole palette of it along with the story, more so than just watching it for the story. And it is an enjoyable film if you watch it on that level. I'd say it's about a 2.5, 3-star film. I'm going to just leave it right there because I'm not quite sure what rating I'm going to give it. 2.5. Because it's just a little slow for me, but I can definitely see why people love it because I can see totally where that appeal is. The only thing that would bump it up to a 3 for me would just be the incredible artistry of it. So, bottom line, if you're into art movies, this movie will blow you away. If not, perhaps skip this one. And that was my review of Hugo. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'm Movie Kid Mike, making sure your time is worth your money.